just to welcome to our session today. So Beyond Data Tree Solution is a leading provider of data professional training and consultancy services. Of course, when you visit our site, you can be able to see the services. So some of the services here are the data science analysis, field research, monitoring and evaluation, research consultants, business intelligence, and machine learning. So as we deploy these models for machine learning, we should be able to develop user-friendly platforms like the web-based apps or even the mobile apps. So today's objective is about data collection using KoboToolBox, because KoboToolBox is the most popular tools that are utilized in the industry for humanitarian and non-humanitarian data collection. So it is an open source platform. You can be able to develop questions on it, and then we will be able to share the questionnaire to the community or the society or the study population that is our of interest. So for you to work with KoboToolBox, you must first of all create accounts onto it. So what I'll do, I will stop sharing this and share the entire window. Let me see if I can. Okay. Let me share the entire window so that you can be able to into the entire window. Will be okay. Okay. So what you do, you go to your browser. What you do, you go to your browser and search for KoboToolBox. Just search for KoboToolBox. Go to your browser and search for KoboToolBox. So you'll be led here. So this link is the link that we use to access KoboToolBox, is kobotoolbox.org. So KoboToolBox, Kobo is a non-profit organization. Kobo is a non-profit organization that manages, has its servers, the EU servers, and of course you can also be able to work with your own servers when you don't want your data to be deployed to the Kobo servers, you can be able to host your data on our own. However, your data is protected. Your data is protected. They cannot have access to your data unless you grant them the permission to do that. When you grant them permission to delete all your data, they can be able to do that. Depends on how sensitive is your data, but they can be able to delete data from their servers. So once you are here, we will go to create an account. We will go to create an account. We will go to create an account. So you go and create an account. Go to create an account. So you'll just give it some few seconds for it to load like that. And here, we can now create an account by giving full name, and then we can provide the username, we can provide the organization, we can provide that, and so other information, as so on and so on. So let me say full name here. I'll just use Beyond Data, just like that, Beyond Data. And the username, maybe username must be small letters. So BDSS. For me, I just use the abbreviation here to just create my username. However, you can be able to use whatever. You can use Beyond Data in small letters as your username. Of course, when you encounter any challenge, you just have to amend where necessary for you to proceed. So KoboToolBox, why KoboToolBox is because KoboToolBox enables us to collect data, humanitarian data, online, offline, and we can have unlimited projects to work on. So it has a free plan, and you can as well, if you're a non-profit organization, you can access the premium version. And if you are a profit organization, you can be able as well to request for a premium version at a fee. So let me say here, I just want to use let me use the info. So you provide your email address, and you can now here select which country are you. So you select the country here. So for example, Kenya, you can just type here Kenya, and then you can see, you will be able to select the country that you reside in, and then which sector is the account for. Which sector, you can select sector, there is no problem. However, you can use other if you are not into a specific sector. Or if it is a private sector, you can see their environment sector, public, and so on and so on. So you can go with other, and the type of organization, you can also select if it is non-profit, not associated with any organization, you can select, and maybe government institution, and so on. So when we go with the non-profit, you can be asked to provide the website for the non-profit, and so on and so on. But if you're not associated with an organization, if it's organization or educational organization, you can select the educational organization, and so on. But if you're not associated, you can just say, I am not associated with any organization. And from there, you can be able to say, if you want to receive updates from Kobo, you can select here. If you are, then here you must agree with the terms of service and privacy. But this is strict, means this is mandatory, this is not mandatory. So you can select here, you can provide a password. You can provide a password here that it is strong. So let me see. So you can choose your own passwords to see the strength of your password. The password, for it to be strength, you must ensure at least you mix letters, uppercase, lowercase, and special characters like art, and so on, and also include numbers. So that's how you create that, and you can confirm your password. And from there now, once you confirm your password, you can now create an account. You can now create your account. So I have created an account. Now here you can select the language. Of course, language is English. You can change the language here for you to see the information that will be provided here. So there is usually a link for activation that is usually sent to your email. So you can check your email to see the activation link that has been sent to you. Whenever you forget your password, you can as well do that, and the activation link will always be sent to your email. So for me to access my email, I'll just stop sharing because the email I've used, it's not a public email. So let me just stop sharing because of the email. So I'll go direct to access my email. So I'll just like to know if we have created accounts. I would just like to know if I've created the account and you have also received your email for that. So Godfrey, how far?
I have managed to activate my account.
Okay, nice. Jackson,
Yes, I'm in my email now. I've created my account now. I
Okay.
need to. Yeah.
Okay. So those who have joined us, we have started by creating a KoboToolBox account. We have started by creating a KoboToolBox account. So I'd like to know if we are together so far where you've found us. So maybe to start, let me ask Dickens, are we together? Mustafa, are we together? We can react via thumbs up or we can unmute.
Hello.
Yes, Dickens, are we together?
Yeah, we're together. I'm also creating the account.
Okay, okay. So Mustafa? Mustafa, are we together? So once you create your KoboToolBox account, you can be able now to activate it. So for that purpose, I would like to see what you've seen. Godfrey, have you logged in now? Godfrey? So let me share my screen again and let me share my screen. We will proceed to the introduction to the interface. So let me share my screen again. Let me just check. Okay. So I'll try and share a window. Let me share a window here. And we'll see what you can be able to do. So let me just share a window. This is previous deployments and some other. So, you know, you have a lot of that, but this is not public. It's just private for. So what you do once you've logged in, you click on new button. Once you've logged in, you click on new button. Once you've logged in, you click on new button here. So once you click on new button, you will see create project, choose a source, create project, choose a source. So there is various ways for you to create KoboToolBox form. There are various ways of you creating KoboToolBox form. And for this session, we are only going to focus on building the form from scratch. However, you can be able to use a template. You can also be able to upload an XML form, or you can be able to import an XML form via a URL. So for us, we will just build the form from scratch. To build a form from scratch, we'll be asked a project name. So for us to study KoboToolBox, I would recommend using a case study here. So our case study today, we are going to use healthcare field. So our case study is about survey on community health needs assessment. So we are focusing on a survey known as community health needs assessment. So assessing the needs of a particular community based on their health services they receive in that area. So I will provide the project name here, Survey on Community Health Needs Assessment. And then you can provide description, or you can fail to provide description. So you can just give a brief description for anyone whom you may be collaborating with upon the project, so for them also to understand what it's about. So you can just give a brief description. Survey on community health needs assessment. So maybe you can just say assessing the needs of our rural community. So it's good for you also to say survey on community health needs assessment in rural areas. Let's just say rural areas. Maybe you can be specific to which area you're focusing, or you can be able to be general. So for this study, we are just general. We're not going to mention any. And then now the sector of your project, you can be able to choose the sector of your project. For us, is health services, public health. So you just click on health services. And then the country, we'll use Kenya. Let's use Kenya, like that, and then create project. So once you have project details here, you can be able to, sorry, let me type here. Should select from this, yeah. And then now you can click on create project for you to create that project. So let's click, please wait. And now we've been led to our interface for KoboToolBox, where we can be able to start building the questionnaires. So far, are we together? So far, are we together? Just check. So far, are we together? Those who have joined us, we started by creating KoboToolBox account. So what you do, you have to create an account by visiting KoboToolBox.org and then click on create an account, and then provide your full name, and then provide your username, which must be small letters. And then from there, you provide your email address where you will receive the activation link. And then from there, you can be able to provide your strong password. And then from there, you must agree with the terms and conditions. And then you can click on create. Then you will have created your account. You can select for organization. You can select you are not aligned with any organization. And you can proceed to create your account. And if you are aligned with an organization, but this is for learning purposes, so you are not aligned to any organization. And from there, you can now create an account. So once you create an account, you'll receive an activation link in your email that you provided. So you go to your email, you check the activation link, and then you click on it to activate your account. So once you've done that, you'll be led to, after you log in, you'll be led to the interface where you will see a new button. You click on the new button, you'll be asked to select a project. Either you want to build it from scratch, or you want to use a template, or you want to upload an XML form
So there's various ways for you can be able to build the forms in KoboToolBox. But for our case, we are building the form from scratch. So we have just clicked on build from scratch, and then you can give descriptions about your project, the project title, and then from there you can create this. So I'd like to know who is left behind before we start building our form. So we said our case study is survey on community health needs assessment in rural areas. So we want to build a community health needs assessment form. So Mercy and Ian, you've joined us, so we don't know where you are so far. So before we go in depth, I would like to know where you are so far. If you can text or you can unmute, it will be better. So that we can know. Okay, I'm creating an account. Okay, Ian, thank you.
Same to me.
Yes, Karen.
I'm also at creating an account.
Okay, please do so that we can proceed. So let me just give the description of the interface for KoboToolBox. So KoboToolBox is a very robust tool and is a nice tool and has good interface for both. It's a low-code platform. It's a low-code platform, though almost 80% of it is no-code, but 20% is low-code. So by no-code and low-code, what I mean is a drag-and-drop platform that is no-code, while low-code, I mean sometimes you may be required to for example, when you want to restrict some questions to follow particular channel, you must do some low code. You must provide some short code, very simple codes in KoboToolBox for you to be able to achieve your data validation on the data quality. So you can check your you can add some things to your library, and you can add also from library to your form, and you can check the form layout here. These are some of the things that we're just talking about. So you can be able to customize how you want your form to be like. So from here, you can change the styling of your form. So select the form style that you would like to use. This will only affect the web form. So it tells you that when you change here, these things will be affecting your web form. So remember KoboToolBox, we can be able to install the mobile app for KoboToolBox and deploy our projects on the phones and give people to do enumeration with the mobile phones. So by that, this setting will not be affecting the mobile phones because the phones have their own orientation, have their own navigation, and has its own layout. So these different types of layout will not affect the mobile phone view. So metadata, these are default data that is usually collected while you start your project. So KoboToolBox can be able to know, for example, when you start collecting data, so KoboToolBox will be able to know at what time have you started, what time have you logged in. These are some of the things that we usually check time between assessments when we want to validate the quality of the data. You may just sit under the tree and you fill in the data. So you can also add audio to background audio to see if you are interrogating with the person you are supposed to interrogate with. So we can enable this, and the background, we can be able to record the background of your sessions that you are doing if you are our enumerator, that is. So we can be able also to see, we can start an early geopoint. So that means that we can be able to know where you are at what time when you before you started going to the assessment. We can know where you are, and we can capture the date for today to know the date for today. Of course, start time and end time usually come with the date, but we can as well check the date. We can audit, we can check the username, we can capture the phone numbers and the device ID. So this helps us to restrict that upon the devices that we have enabled to do that work should be able to do the work, and not just any other device that you can delegate the role to someone else. So there are a lot of things that we can be able to Kobo, but now let's see what we can be able to do. So based on the survey on the community health needs assessment in rural areas, we will start by creating the first question. So for you to create a question in KoboToolBox, so this form is currently empty. So we start by creating the first question in KoboToolBox. So remember, we usually have something like demographic information. Like the first thing, maybe the consent, the consent for you to agree with the terms and service, or the description of our project. So you can just give a brief description, a note here. So we have, these are all the type of questions that we can use in KoboToolBox for us to collect data. So I'll just use a note, and in the note, a note is just a text that will be read loudly to the user, but not that it's something you should fill in. It's something that will be read loudly to the user's side. So here I can say, by participating in this survey, you agree to the terms and conditions of the survey. So maybe the terms and condition is that you consent to providing us with your data, and your data will only be used for this purpose of understanding the needs assessment only, and so on. So this message will only be read loudly. So the good thing with the KoboToolBox that we can be able to see preview every time we can preview the form. So let me just preview so that we see what we have done so far. So when we preview our form, this is how the form is going to be like. So survey on community health needs assessment in rural areas. So by participating in this survey, you agree to the terms and conditions of this survey. You see, it has been read loud. Not that you should provide feedback to it, but it has been read loud to the user. So you can write anything there for your end, or you can give here a hint. A hint here, you can add something like not. So we can again review that. We can again preview that. So the note is just a hint. You can just a note. You can just say read the text above, so that people must consent. So here you can provide something like I acknowledge. Remember, there is a question here, type of question. So the study is going to use majority of this type of questions here. But now you can see how this works. So I acknowledge is part of the questions that in KoboToolBox. So for you to proceed with the survey, you must acknowledge that you agree to the terms and conditions that we provided here. So again, we will preview to see how our form looks like. We will preview to see how our form looks like. So it should be loading. So it's loading. And we can see, we'll be able to see how that will be like. So one has to acknowledge, to agree to our survey. Like here now, I acknowledge. So you can click on OK, and maybe, and now someone can be able to proceed. So that is acknowledgement to agree to participate in the survey. Okay, so that is that. Now we can proceed to if someone does not acknowledge, there's no need for the person to participate in the survey. So you should not proceed with the survey. So we want to start by creating demographic information here. So for you to add a question, you click here on the plus sign that you will see, you click on it. And then add a question here, you can paste here the text for the question. So the first question will be, what is your name? 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 And the type of question, so you click on the add question here, and now you select text. Because a name is a text, now you select the text. What is your name? You select text. So here you can be able to provide the hint. Hint is just giving a guide to someone. So you can say, provide your full name as the hint. Provide your full name as the hint. Provide your full name. However, in some scenarios, we usually proceed and dictate on which mode or which type of question on the structure of the question. We usually proceed and dictate on the structure of the question. Like we can restrict that the type of the name, you should only have 2 names. We can restrict for you to provide only 2 names. We can restrict for you only to provide 3 names. We can restrict on the way you should format your names, maybe starting with the capital letter for each name. We can be able to restrict that. So all those are advanced aspects of KoboToolBox that we can be able to do. So those ones are low code, and we are not going to cover those ones today because they are low code. So for us, we will proceed, but we will be able to tell you what we can be able to do with KoboToolBox so that we can, of course, in our advanced sessions, you can be able to know what we cover in the advanced sessions. So what is your name? You provide here a hint. Now we proceed to the next thing. What is your gender? What is your gender? What is your gender? What is your gender? So gender is a select one question. Select one. So is a select one question. Gender is a select one question. So you can say male, male, and then option 2, female, and then click here to add another response like other. Okay. What is your name? What is your gender? Then we can have what is your email address. So we can add here, what is your email address? What is your email address? And now we come here to add question, and then we select email address is just, let's say, is a text. Sometimes we can restrict the validation criteria for an email address. So those are advanced concepts that you can be able to do in KoboToolBox to restrict that an email must have this and this and this and this and this. So you can be able to dictate that. So from there, we can proceed to, let me just check the type of questions here that we can be able still to have under demographic that I may have left out. The phone number, okay, the age, let me just use the age, and the date of birth. Okay, so let me use the age. So what is your age? What is your age? Sometimes we usually prefer age bracket, but let's just have what is your age, and we can be able to use this is a number. You can say this is a number. You can say this is a number. And we can have date of birth. Date of birth. So date of birth, what is your date of birth? What is your date of birth? So we are going to use a date question. What is your date of birth? We are going to use a date question. This date. You click on date, not time, not date time. So you just click on date, type question. So what have we learned so far? We have learned about a not, I acknowledge type of question. We have learned about a text type of question. We have learned about a type of choice question. We have learned about text again, a number, and then here we are learning about a type of question data. Date of birth. What is your date of birth? What is your date of birth? So that's what we have been able to learn. so far, and I would like to know where we've reached before we do something to our form. So let me preview first, and then I'll ask members if we are together. So assessment survey is being built again and again. So here you acknowledge, here is what is your name, then what is your gender, then what is your email address, what is your age, and then here, what is your date of birth. You can be able to select from this calendar. You can be able to select your date of birth from this calendar. You can click here to adjust which year were you, and so on, and provide feedback to us. Okay. So far, I'd like to know where we've reached. If we are together, I would like to see reaction, or if there is a question. Yes, there's a question. Dickens. Dickens. I can see your hand is up, but we cannot hear you.
Hear me now? Yes, hello.
Dickens.
Oh, now I'm asking about the gender. I've not understood
Yes.
that well. Which question do you have to the gender?
Or the type of question for gender is select one.
Select one.
Yes, Dickens, it's select one.
Okay, and another question.
Yes.
How do you edit? For example, you made a mistake on one, so you want to rectify something. How do you go back to change that?
A mistake where while developing, you have just to
Yeah,
create another
in
question.
terms of adding, I mean, in terms of adding a question, then maybe you place the wrong question, so you
Yeah,
want
you
to
have to
change it.
delete. You
You know,
have to
you have to
delete.
delete everything. Sorry,
It's that painful.
you have to delete everything.
No, you delete
Eh,
that question and
or
you
you only
create a new.
delete that question.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
there's a delete.
okay.
There is a delete here,
Uh, oh
so
yeah,
you
yeah, I
can delete
see.
that question and now
Great.
create a.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. So are we together, members? Anyone left behind?
Hello.
Yes, yeah.
Can we just please do a quick recap from the acknowledgement part? I'm a bit behind, sorry.
Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Because the more we go, we will not come back. So we have to do the recap. The more we go. Okay, so acknowledge part, you have to select the acknowledge type of question. So once you select that, it will be that type. What is your full name? You have to select the text type of a question. And then under hint question there, for this, you provide your full name as your hint. You can provide your hint. You can do that. So for me to do that, let me just check here. So in KoboToolBox, because the more you're going, so let me just finish this as I do the recap. What is your name? So what is your name? You come here under settings, click on it. Under settings, click on it. So you can make this a mandatory question here. You make this mandatory response. You make it yes. So what is your full name? It is a text-based question. So you make it a mandatory question. And then data column name. So this is the name for the column for the database. You can change it and call it full name underscore. Let me use small letters. Should be small letter. Full name. Full underscore name. You should not use space. Underscore name. Yeah. And then you can provide a hint. We already have a hint, provide your full name. And then, of course, you can still provide the hint in the question. Maybe it must be capital. It must be in a proper format. proper format, e.g. John Doe. So mandatory response, you make it a mandatory response. You can provide a default response on your backend. You can provide a default response when it's needed. And then the type of, the question is appearance. Here, it can be, you better just leave it. This one is not the best. I will use another type of question for you to check that, to understand that. So skip logic, these are the questions, these are, the question should be available, the question should be visible if what has happened. That is the skip logic. So here you can be able to add conditions to your question. But I want this question to be available, a question to be available when acknowledgement was answered. You see, I want this question to be available when acknowledgement answered. So when someone does not answer the acknowledgement, this question will not be available. Skip logic, you click on add a condition, and then you will see they will ask you select question from the list. So when we had previous question at the top, we could have seen all the questions here, but now because acknowledgement is the one that is only at the top, so we just click on acknowledge, and then when it was answered, just that. Once it's answered, we can be able to see the question for the full name. Okay. Then another thing in the KoboToolBox is validation criteria. So under validation criteria here is where we usually add the validation condition here. So we usually add the validation condition here. So this question response has to be, you can provide the exact response, or you can provide the error message when the response is not valid. So this is how we validate data before even it comes to KoboToolBox for us to achieve data quality. The in-depth of this, how it works, it is covered in our advanced KoboToolBox sessions. So for our purpose of learning today, we will not go into details of that. So you can be able to restrict the question should be of a type, this type, and the questions must be 3, the responses must be 3. For example, full names, 3 full names, or 2 full names, or at least 2, and so on. So from there, we go to gender, unless there is a question, we go to gender. So what is your gender? So your gender also, we need it to be available when someone acknowledges to participate in our questionnaire. So what is your gender? So we change this from what is your gender, we just type it as gender, just gender. You can change this, the default column name. So you can change it for easier of readability. Sometimes when you have a very long question, it may be truncated in a way it is not easier to learn, and then to be able to read. So under mandatory response, you make it a mandatory response. Skip logic, this question, we will add a condition that this question should be visible when acknowledgement was answered. Of course, acknowledgement has only one response, which is okay. So someone must acknowledge. When someone fails to acknowledge, that question will not be available. That's what we mean. So maybe we can just check so far and see what we are doing. Let's just preview and see what we are doing. So what we are doing, you can see here, we don't have full name, we don't have gender. Until someone responds to this acknowledge is when the full name will be here. And again, there's more details under the more hint, it must be in a proper format, e.g. this. You can be able to see more details about how you are supposed to respond to the question. And from there, you can now see gender is available as well. The gender question is available. Or else, if you don't respond to acknowledge, you will not see those questions. So again, we can restrict to all these other types of questions that the condition must be valid. Someone must acknowledge for them to see these questions. Is there a question before we proceed? So no question, and maybe you can see, can I see reactions so far to see if we are together? Okay, thank you, Jackson. Reactions to check if you are together. Thank you, Godfrey. Can I just confirm if we are together? Show your thumbs up. show your thumbs up so that we can know if we are together. Because the more we go, the more we go. Okay, thank you, Mercy. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Dickens. So we can proceed. So your question must be available only if you have acknowledged. Questions must be available. We can validate the criteria for gender. We can validate the criteria. Maybe the validation code is usually pasted here, but we don't want to go into the low code part. So we are just only covering the no code part of KoboToolBox development. So you can minimize your settings by just closing the settings. This one, you close this, and then you minimize those set dialog. And then now we proceed to what is your email address. So email address, we can click on settings. You can just change this to email address. Let's say we are using email underscore address. And you can provide the hint. Your email must be this, it must be it must be in a proper, and so on. So these are autocomplete. This is autocomplete that is doing that, but no problem. So you can make it a mandatory. And then here, you can select how you want to see, but of course, let's just leave it as a select. We will explain that, how it works. And then the validation criteria also, you can say it must be available if someone acknowledged. So we can again add another condition, and so on and so on. And the validation, that is skip logic. Under validation criteria, we can be able to add here a validation criteria there on how we want to validate our email. But of course, sometimes we usually go with an extent of using the XML code for that, for email, for us to accurately be able to capture the email address that is correct. And then from there, we can go to what is your age, is a number type of question. So under settings, what is your age? You can just change this column name to age. And it's a mandatory for you to provide your age. The default response, maybe it's 0. Let's see. The default response is 0, so you can be able to change here. What is your age? Default response is 0. Yeah, so, and it's a number type. So we'll see how that works. So let's preview our form again. Let's preview our form again. So when you preview our form again, we can be able to see what is your age is 0 here by default. That is the default response. So you can be able to adjust by incrementing the age or manually just typing the age, maybe 50, 45. We can also restrict the maximum, the range of the age. You cannot have an age like that. So you can be able to restrict that under low-code advanced KoboToolBox concepts. And if this field is required, that's why it is asterisk. Sometimes we don't just provide this information. We usually say your age must be in this range, and so on and so on. So it may not be blank, and so on and so on. So from there, we can also, under skip logic, this question must be available if someone acknowledged to make, to acknowledge on the terms and condition. And then finally was on the date of birth. So this is a date birth question, date type of question. We make it also mandatory here, and we leave it here as it is. So skip logic, so it should only be available if someone acknowledged. You must acknowledge if acknowledgement was answered. Yes. And then from there now, what we want to do next is to combine. Begin here, we want to combine, to group these questions under a section known as demographic information. So we click here, select all the questions you want to be in the same group by holding on your control, select the questions that you want to be in the same group. So for example, you want what is your date of birth, what is your age, what is your email address, what is your gender, what is your name, to be in the same, I usually say in the same WhatsApp group. Anyway, so to be in the same group. So you click here, and then now you click here, you click here, you click here. This one will be enabled if you select. So you click here, then it will group these your questions to be in one group. So we can call this section one, section one, and we call it demographic information. Demographic information, like that, demographic information. So we can preview again, but let's also group this one and this one to be under acknowledgement. So control, use control, not shift, use control. So we group this and call this group acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. Call this acknowledgement. So you must acknowledge for you to participate in this survey. So we have that. So let's preview our form and see how it looks like. So acknowledgement. So acknowledgement section starts here. This is the group acknowledgement. We can minimize. This is like indentation, indent. So we can be able to minimize this drop down like this for us to minimize everything like this. But however, this one should be available only if you had already responded on the acknowledgement. So if you don't respond to the acknowledgement, you cannot be able to see section one, because all the questions in section one are based on for you acknowledging here, for you to be able now to see all the question one, the questions in section one. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Jackson?
I think I lost you somewhere about the groups.
Yes,
If
yes.
I will request you repeat
Okay.
that process again.
Other members, are we together? Other members, are we together?
Kindly repeat on the grouping also.
Okay. Godfrey? Godfrey, Ian?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay, Ian?
I'm following. I'm okay.
Okay, thank you. So let's just repeat that bit. Okay, so let's close this, our preview, and now repeat that section. So I think for grouping, let's proceed to the next section, and then we will see how we group. I think if it's just grouping, no problem, because we still have questions down here for us to deploy. So we will just, for us now, if you want to add a question in the same group, you click on the first addition sign. You will be adding a question in the same group. If you want to add a question outside that group, you click on the second addition sign. You need to note that if you want to add a question inside the same group, you click here. However, you can also be able to shift, reposition your questions from date of birth, before age, or date of birth at the top of the group. You can be able to reshape everything the way you want. Okay. So let's proceed to the next section, and then we will see how we will be doing the grouping. So I will click here, the one for another group. So I will not click on the first addition symbol. I'll add on the second addition symbol for me now to create other questions for another group. So here, what we are going to do is to create a section known as health information. So we are not going to create the section first. I usually prefer starting with the type of question, the question first, the question itself. So matline text question. So we are going to matline text question. So we will see what does that mean in KoboToolBox. So I will come here and paste. Please describe any health issues you are currently experiencing. Please describe any health issues you are currently experiencing. Please describe any issues, any health issues you are experiencing currently. So I'll click on the add question and I am going to select text. I'm going to select text, but now it will not be a short text. We will make it a math line. We have a single line text and a math line text. So let me preview for you to see, colleagues, what I mean. So when I scroll down, you see this is a single line text, a single line text. So we must change this to math line for it to enable the person to have enough space for describing the issue. So for us to do that, I'll just, the same question, I'll go to settings. So we said here, you can just change this. You see it's truncating things to its own default maximum number. So you can just change this to health underscore issues, like that, and then make the question mandatory. And then here, under appearance, you change from select here, change to multi-line. By default, it will be single line. So you must change this to multi-line. You must change this to multi-line. So once you change this to multi-line, you can be able to, maybe if you have skip logic, if you don't have skip logic, however, you can be able to do that. But of course, we will learn more again on how we can do that in another way. So we want to close this. We just change this from select to multi-line. So you close this, and we can again preview our form and see how it appears. So by KoboToolBox, it's good for you to always preview your work to see how it appears. Now you see it is along. I can write here stories. I can write here stories. Write here stories. Unlike the single line, I cannot be able to write stories like this. So you have to change this to a math line. Please describe any health issues that you're currently experiencing, and so on. So from there, we go to the next type of question, which is do you have access to healthcare facilities? Do you have access to healthcare facilities? That is single select question. Do you have access? That's why you see select one. Select one means single select question. So you click here, and then you write your question. Do you have access to a healthcare facility? Remember, these are rural area survey. So we are just checking that. So you click on add question, then you go to select one. The first option, option one, you say yes. Option two, you say no. Yes, no. So that means the person will be able to select on either yes or select no. So you can also go to settings and also change, this one is health facility, control A, health facility, health underscore facility access, health underscore facility access. And then you make the question mandatory, But of course, the type here is just the single select. So just leave it the way it is. However, you can also provide your default response if you want, maybe if it is a must for you to do that, but there's no need. So you can also have skip logic, you can also have validation. But anyway, we can now proceed. Do you have access to healthcare facility? So your question is mandatory. And now we can proceed to another type of question. Another type of question is a multiple select question. So the question is, which of the following health facilities are available in your community? So we will add here a question. Yes, someone is raising a hand. So let me just check. You can unmute, please.
How did we add multiple line?
Math line. Math line. Okay. So for us to add a math line, what we did is that, let me just go there and show how we did that. Okay, so this. So here, which of the following it was multi-line. Please describe the issues. So you go to settings, and then the question is mandatory there. So you change from appearance advanced here, from select to multi-line.
All right.
Change
Nice.
from select
Thank
to
you.
multi-line. Okay, so you close that to minimize, and then here you can now be able to see. So from there, we see, please describe. Okay, we finished that. So which of the following health services are available in your community? Now it's a multi-line. Select many question. This is a select many question. So you go on select many question, and now we can select many question. The first one is primary care. Primary care is the first choice. Control A, primary care. Then we can have dental care, dental care, and then we can have mental care facilities, and we can have as many as possible. But now, because of learning, we will only just have the 3 there. And then when we can go to settings, we can go to settings to make it a mandatory question and change here from the general column name to which of the following services. So health services available. Yeah, health services available. Then we close this. Now our question is mandatory. Which of the following health services are available in your community? So just like that. So this is a multi-line. So we can preview it to see how it is different from the single. This is not a multi-line, is a multiple select many, is different from the select one. So here you can select multiple groups. Unlike the select one type of questions, you can only select one. We're using the radio buttons, and this one we are using the checkboxes. We are using checkboxes. But of course, you must respond to it because it is mandatory. This field is required. Okay, I think we are doing well. I just think we are doing well. Now we can proceed to group this as section 2, health information. We can group this as section 2, health information. Group this as section 2, health information. So for you to group, we said you use control, you click on the questions you want to group together. So we only have these 3 questions that we want to group together that are not from any group. So you select 1, 2, 3, and then you click here, create group with selected questions. You click create groups with selected questions. So you click on that, and then a group will be created here. And now control A to change this to section 2, health information. Section 2, health information. So each section has also its settings. So you can just set a section to be available based on the skip logic. So this section is health information. So we can just change this to health information. Health information as the name of the section. Health information, and then a skip logic, we can add a skip logic here. So we need this. Sorry, you have in my address. So here we need it to be available for acknowledge. So we need this to be available when acknowledge was answered. Remember, you can group the entire group to be available based on a particular question. You can specify entire group to be available based on a particular question. Like in this case, we are enabling this group only to be available if someone acknowledged. to participate. So let's also preview that. Of course, you can do that to the rest of the other groups, and it will be able to hide everything. So you will not be able to see that group here. Section 2 is not there because we have not responded to acknowledge. So when you click on acknowledge, you can see the questions under section 1, but also section 2 is here. Section 2 is here with us. Section 2 is here with us. So are we together? Are we together? Or can you be able to see, hope you can be able to see the previews that I'm sharing when I share the preview. Hope you are able to see the previews when I share the previews. So hope everything is okay. Thumbs up. Can I see thumbs up? Okay, Jackson. Hope everything is okay. Yes, Ian, thank you. Let me just check that. Marcy, is everything okay? Dennis. Okay, thank you, George. Thank you. Okay, so we can proceed. We can proceed. Okay, thank you, Dickens. So we can proceed to another section that captures the geographic location. That captures geographic location. So section 3, geographic location. So please mark your current location on the map. Please mark your current location on the map so that we can be able to visit you. We can be able to visit you. So please mark your location on the map. Let me just minimize this. Please mark your location on the map. Please mark your location on the map. So I'll add a question, and then I'll go to point. I'll go to point. I'll go to point. I'll go to point. So I'll click on the point question for me to capture the geographic location. So I can just preview this to see how it comes out. So you can see, you will just mark on, you can detect the current location. Without you filling in this, you can just use the detect current location. You can just use detect current location, and that your current location will be captured. So when you submit, it will be able to capture your longitude, latitude, altitude, and the accuracy in terms of meters. And now we can be able to easily locate you where you are. However, you can also search the address and so on. So that's how location is captured. Let's go to settings. So this is location. So we can just location. We just call this location map. Location on the map. Location on the map. And we don't want a hint, or you can just use detect current location as a guidance hint. And the question must be mandatory. And of course, that is that. So you can just have that. And we go to another type of question another type of question under that section is, please upload a photo of your local health facility. Hey, please upload a photo of. So the photo section will allow you to either capture the camera photo in real time, or you can upload already a photo you already captured. So you click on the photo, click on the photo question, you click on the photo question for you to enable that. So it will, let me just preview. You just add a photo question onto your form. Add a photo question onto your form. Just wait for it to refused to connect. Let me just refresh that. Review again. Yeah. There we go. So I'll scroll down to the location. So here you can see, you can click here to upload a file. So you can just click here and it will ask you to upload a file either directly from the, you see when I click here, mine is opening a dialog for me to upload a photo from my downloads. So for your case, it will also do that. But if you are using a phone, it will give you a permission for you to take a photo instantly. So hope that is okay. Hope that is okay. So we can proceed. So we can be able to capture a photo there or upload a photo. So we proceed to another question. Another question is record a brief description of the healthcare challenges in your community. That means that you are capturing an audio. You are capturing an audio of the scenario. So record a brief description of the health challenges in your community. You click on add, and then you click on audio. You click on audio type of question. Again, we preview. 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 So the more the form becomes more complex, the more it takes time to load. So here you can record. So you can click here to upload the recording, or if you are using your phone, you can just record direct. But however, we can automatically in the background set the background recording during the interview session, maybe with an enumerator, stuff like that. But however, you can upload here the audio file from the downloads. Okay. That is for the PC. Of course, the phone you can either upload or record directly. So we need to group these questions. These 3 questions, we need to group them to be known as Section 3, Geolocation and Media. Section 3, Geolocation and Media. So I click on this, I click this, control, click on the next question, which is about please upload a photo, and another question, which is about please mark your current location. And then I go to group, create a group. So I have created another group down here. So I'll just change the name of the group to select geolocation and media. Select geolocation and media. So once we have done that, we have another section. We have another section known as feedback suggestion. Feedback suggestion. Feedback suggestion. So another section is feedback suggestion. So we need to have a ranking question. So we will copy this, rank the following health facilities in order of importance to you. Rank the following. Rank the following. So we create a new question. Rank the following health services in order of your importance to you. So we will use ranking. You click on rank. So we can just click on the first choice. The first choice. The first choice is let's just let me just copy these responses here. Maybe regular checkup and preventive care. Regular checkup and preventive care. You can use that as the first choice. Regular checkup. Second choice. Second choice is regular checkup. That is the first choice. The second choice is access to emergency rooms and urgent health and urgent care centers. So if you can just see that, you can be able to copy from what you can be able to see there. So first choice, second choice, and the third choice. We are adding the third choice. The first one was regular checkups and preventive care. Oh, let me remove this additional information here about first choice, second choice. Yeah, and remove this also. And third choice, emergency medical response time. Emergency medical response time. Emergency medical response time. So you can have something like that. You can have something like that. So let's preview our form. Let's preview our form to see how it works. To see how it works. So it's good for us to preview our form to see how it's working. So here, you see how it is doing. Rank the following health services in order of importance to you. So you can select regular checkups. So we have to give it either 1, 2, 3 values, and then we can be able to rank them. 1, 2, 3 under the rank. There's automatic, something known as automatic there. So you can give it 1 to 5 maybe, or there are 3, 1, 2, 3, maybe something like that. So under here, we can maybe say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, let's preview our form. Let's preview our form. And then we'll go down. Now we can be able to check. So you can give this to be ranked as 1. You can change this to be ranked as 2. This to be ranked as maybe 3. It cannot be ranked twice. So it either has to be 1, 2, or 3. So this one can either be 3. This one can be 1. And it will now accept that. So we cannot select it. So we click on 1. Yeah, like that. So that's how the rank type of question works. So first of all, you start by providing the choices, choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, and then you check you provide these choices and then the ranking values on the other side. So it's good when we have, if there are 3, here also to be 3, 5 to be 5, so that we can easily rank them. A question? Any question there before we proceed? Before we proceed? Any question there before we proceed? I see everything is all right. Everything is all right. That means we are doing well. Is everything okay? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So that's awesome. So we proceed to another question. Let's see if we'll be able to accomplish this. So rate the rating now. We had ranking, now we have rating. Rate the question, the quality of the following services. Rate the quality of the following services. But now in this case, we are going to use a matrix. So there are a lot of type of questions in KoboToolBox. We cannot be able to explore all of them, but we will try. So rate the quality of the following services on a scale of 1 to 5. So under add, you click on add question here. rate the quality of the following services. We are not going to use rating. We are going to use a question matrix so that we can have a table instead of a single question. So yeah, there we go. So you see how this layout is a matrix. So what we can do, row will contain the service. Row will contain the service, and column will contain the rating. So I will go to the, let me just check the services. We have a lot of services here. So we have primary care. We have primary care as one of the services. So under row, you click here, settings. So the row label, settings, you click on settings to change the row label. So you paste here. Sorry, let me remove this. So primary is the first one. Maybe you can just use, yeah, A1 like that, primary care. And then the data column prefix, you can be able to say maybe it's primary care. Instead of row, you change this primary care, primary underscore care. And then we can click on add. You click on add for you to add the next row, the next facility service to be evaluated. The next service is emergency services. Emergency services. Emergency services. So emergency services, we will add here. We already added. So you click on settings, and then you change from row. You write there emergency services as B, and then this is, we can name it emergency underscore services. We can add another one. So we'll be rating them based on. You can just click on settings to go to allow that to go back, and then we add another one. We add another one. Another one is maternal and child health services. Maternal and child health services. Maternal and child health services. So delete this. So we have C, maternal and child health services. So we can just call this maternal. And we proceed. We click on add to add another one. So another one is mental health services. Mental health services. Mental health services. So we'll minimize this and go to settings here for row. We'll change this to maternal health services. So you can just call this mental, not maternal, mental health services. So we can add another one. You can have as many as possible. Mental, just have that. So Kobo automatically will be doing this because sometimes you may have several mentals. So it will be able to add a 2 at the end whenever you have another mental. Okay, so that one is just okay. So we'll add another one. So I think I should just add the last one. There are a lot, but let me just add the last one. Dental healthcare, pharmacy services. There are a lot. Dental healthcare, pharmacy services. So you click on settings. You change the label to what you want, e.g., like this, the dental healthcare. So you can say this is dental. And then you can now proceed to pharmacy services. The community rate that pharmacy services. Pharmacy services. And we can just call this pharmacy. Okay, so I think that is enough. We are just doing this for learning, so we cannot finish all that. So in the column, we will have settings. Sorry. Where are you going? Settings. You click on settings. So the response type, we are changing it from we are going to select one. We are going to select one. We are going to select one. Let me see. This text. Does it look like no cancel? Select one. We are using text. Select one, or we can use the select many. But let me just allow select one. Select many does not make sense. So select one. We give label. We give a label to our first response. So for example, we can have poor, very poor. We can have very poor, very poor. And here we can have, that's very poor, poor. And here we can have uncertain. And then here we can have good. Then we can have lastly very good. Because it's a scale of 1 to 5. Of course, when you use number, there is when we applying that. So very good, very good, very good. So very good. So you go to the settings of your first column title here, and you do that. You do that. So let's see how does it look like. So we can see we have all options here to be selected from. So you can rate this based on the very poor, poor, uncertain, good, very good in that same bracket. So I'll just delete this column. Just delete this column. Just delete this column, another column, and so that I remain with only one column here, this column. So we go to settings, change the label to rating, rate, change this to rate, yeah. So again, we will go back. So it has changed from column to rate. So let's preview and see. So we have created a question matrix. Let's preview and see how it looks like. Can preview and see how it looks like. But however, there is always a better way of arranging that. But now this is how it looks like. So I think this is better, is looking better. So we can say, we can rate now, primary care, we can say it's poor, emergency services, we can say it is good, maybe, and stuff like that. So the backend, you can see the backend for that matrix question in KoboToolBox is usually that complex. It's usually that complex, especially when you are meeting it for the first time. But where you align your rows, you put the services for rows. For column is where you put the rating. So you go to just settings for that. You change from whatever, select that, select one. However, you can change to values. If you use number, you can change to values from 1 to 5. But changing this will alter everything in this question. So we are just learning that using the very good and stuff like that. So from there now, you can collect your responses. I think that is, before that, let me check a skip logic. Let's implement one skip logic apart from the one we learned. So you'll just look at the last skip logic, the skip logic. So this is how we develop this form. So let me go to minimize these settings. Yeah, that's a right question. So I'm able to minimize this by clicking here. It will be back there. Okay. So we can add, this is a section on its own, rating, rate the following services. Should be together with which one, or is it alone? Let's see which group is it. So, okay, matrix question. This is under feedback and suggestion. This is under feedback and suggestion. feedback and suggestion. So we want to create that group. We want to create that group. Here there is a question. So wait, first of all, we create the group and then we will see. So under ranking, we select this question for ranking. Sorry, this question for ranking. And we also select the question for rate. So you hold on shift, on control, sorry, and you select this one, and then you click on group, and it has been grouped. So you can give it a title here, which is section 4, feedback and suggestion. And okay, so I can receive that question. Please unmute.
Yeah, I wanted to know what you did to make the rate options be in a straight line. Like
The rate options, I deleted there is an empty column that we did not give information to, so you delete it to remain with rate only.
okay.
Yeah, rate only. Delete the other column next to the first column you gave these inputs. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Godfrey, are we together? Ian.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so we can proceed. That's nice. We can now proceed to another part that we are looking at is we have a conditional question. So do you have access to health facility? If the answer is no, we need to ask, what are the main barriers to accessing health facility? So we want to create another section that will only be available if someone previously had responded that they have a challenge while accessing a health facility. So we'll click on add, and then here we will pause the question. Let me see. What are the main barriers to accessing healthcare? So maybe it's far, maybe it's not in a good condition, so we need to know. Okay, what are the main barriers to accessing healthcare? So this question is an open-ended question. So it is a text, and we want to make it multi-line text. So you go to settings. We can just change this to barriers of healthcare access. Yeah, and then we make it mandatory, and then we change from select here, we change it to multi-line so that someone can be able to outline the reasons. And then under skip logic, this question is only should be available if someone responded. You click on add condition, skip logic, add condition, select. So someone should be able to there was a question on did you have access to health facility? So you click on do you have access to health facility? If the answer is no, you change from yes to no. If the answer is no, we need to ask what are the main barriers to access the healthcare? What are the main barriers to access the healthcare? That means that when the person will respond yes, this question will not be available. This question will not be available when someone responds yes. So after having done that, so we can be able to preview our form. And maybe this is also a mandatory question. So we need just to counter check. So let me first of all finalize by creating this is a final group. It is just a condition, a skip logic. So I don't want to care about adding it as on its own. So let me just leave it out like that. And I want to see how everything runs smoothly. We need that all sections to be available. All sections to be available when someone acknowledges the response. So let me just also set this as a section on its own, which is about healthcare access issues. Maybe section 5. Let's call this section 5. Issues. Yeah. So from there, we can be able now to set this group also to be available. We can just change the name of the group. Let's just use healthcare issues. Issues 001. Yeah, let's just be that friendly name. And we want to go to skip logic. So this question, we add a skip logic, we refer to the acknowledge. We refer to, so everything, every section should be available if someone has acknowledged. So that's what I am counter checking. So we have this section, we have this section here, the entire this section should be someone acknowledges. So go to settings, skip logic, you can add now the logic. Here is when someone acknowledges to respond is when this section will be available. And then also we proceed to other sections. You must ensure that everything is running seamlessly before you deploy your form to the environment for data collection. So skip logic, add condition, select acknowledge was answered. Okay, we go. Which of the following health services are available in your community? So this health information section, you must check skip logic. Acknowledge was answered. You must just confirm that. And then you can confirm the demographic information. I think that one was okay. So up there, we can now be able to preview our form. We can now be able to preview our form. Can be able to preview our form. Survey on the community health needs assessment in the rural area. So I acknowledge. So one must acknowledge. I think I have not set this section 1. So let me also set it. It should not be visible. So settings, you go to skip logic, you add a condition, select from acknowledge, then was answered. So that now, when someone gives this form for the first time, they should not be able to see anything unless they acknowledge to participate in the survey like this. So when someone acknowledges, now the person can be able to see all the sections, except the last section, the question which was about healthcare issues, that will only be available when you respond yes or when you respond no on do you have access to healthcare facility. When you respond no is when the question will be at the lower section, which is what are the main barriers to accessing the healthcare. And we can do the rating there, and we can capture geographic location, and we can be able to do that. So for us to test this thing, I will share this link in the chat section. I want to save. So first of all, you have to save this work. You have to save this work. Now you have saved your work. So once you save your work, you can now go to click here to return to the list of the projects that you have. Click here to return to the list of the projects you have. You will see your project here. So this is the project. You click on it. You will see your project. You click on it. You see your project. You click on it. So once you click on the project, you will see some few informations here. Submission that have already been submitted and by which date. Those are summaries. You can collect data here. Let's just see the form. This is the form. If you want to make changes to this public form, you must deploy this form. Of course, once you do that to deploy, we have not deployed our form yet. We just saved. Here is where the data is going to be. Here is where the data is going to be. So we must deploy the form for us to see the tabular data view of our survey. And the settings here is where we can be able to see the descriptions of what we had about this project. And if we upload media, when we receive media, we can upload here the media. We can upload here the media if we want to add things like logo to our KoboToolBox, which is an advanced part of KoboToolBox, so you can be able to add logos for the company and also add some pictures to our form to make it as robust as possible. That is under advanced sections of KoboToolBox. And we can be able to share to other collaborators, and we can transfer even the ownership of the project here to someone else. So currently, data scientist is the owner, but you can as well add users and so on. So you can connect projects from one project to the other. You can import other projects and so on. So there's a lot that can advanced aspects of KoboToolBox. For this purpose, we will just go to the deployment under form, go to deploy. So we want to deploy this form for us to be able to access the data collection links. So we deploy it to make it available. So we click deploy to KoboCart. So it's deployed. It's deployed. Now you can see we have collect data. So under collect data here, we can have multiple submissions. So we can collect data online, offline, multiple submissions by just copying this link, copy this link, and you can share to anyone and can be able to respond to the form. So you can also click here to open directly to your browser. So suppose I click here, it will open, the Enketo will open in the browser. So Enketo is the web-based version of Kobo, and it will ask me to enable my location because there is a question that requires my location. So I have to allow. So let me just block that. And then here, of course, when you block that, you will not be able to capture the location, but you need is a must question to respond to. So you cannot be able to capture location of where you are. So when I click on current location, because it's already blocked, it is non-responsive. So I cannot be able to submit this form. Sometimes we usually see our enumerators facing challenges while collecting data because of this. So you have to enable your location for you to be able to capture the location, your current location. However, this is just an accurate results. We need to capture the current location, so you must enable your location. So you can just refresh. Let's refresh this form. However, there is usually draft copies that are usually kept discard.
Question.
So you see here is where you can be able to see the drafts or other submission that you made to this similar form. You can be able to access them here if you already did that. And let me acknowledge, and you can now provide the feedback to your form. So that's how you open the form, but however, you can copy this link and paste it and send it to anyone. However, you can change here to how you want the submissions to be made. You need only online submissions, only need single submission, only need once per respondent, online only. You want to embed the web form code, you can be able to get an embeddable HTML code so that you can embed your form to a website or something like that. Or it's just a view only, you can be able to see that. So that is it. So I will share this link in the chat section so that we can provide some demo data so that we see how our data will be like in the chat section. So that we can see our database here, how it will be like. So I'll paste here the link. So respond to that link for us to get dummy data, for us to see how the data will be coming in our KoboToolBox, unless there is a question. So there is a link there in the chat section. Respond to it. We see real-time data update in the database. So let me just go to the Kobo. Okay. Vivian, we cannot be able to repeat on that, but it's being recorded, so you should worry less. You will receive the recording once we have your email. Yeah, we will share with you the recording. Okay. So there is a link there. Can we respond to the link so that, let me go to the submissions where we can be able to see the submissions. So here is blank because there is no submission that has been made so far. So let's make submissions. You can see here the number of submissions here. You can see the number of submissions here once they come in. The more the data comes in, you will be able to see that. So you'll just take some random images. Yes, someone is raising a hand or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just some. I wanted to ask if there is a way. If, for example, I want some users to scan, so that maybe scan a barcode that will take them to my form.
Yes.
Is there? I think can this be possible?
Yeah, that one now we will have to use the other tools for embedding your link to a scanner, so it can be easier for you to do that, to generate the QR, use the QR softwares for you to generate that, and then it will automatically lead them to the link, to the submission form.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
In your form, it's asking for credentials, like login credentials. Is it a must?
Login credentials, like?
It's asking enter your KoboToolBox credentials, username and password.
Username and password. Attempted to access from ID. Okay. Sorry. Let me just go to, I think that one is, let me just show you why is that happening. So we go to the form. We go to edit the form. I think it should be under layout. Okay, that's okay. I thought here is where the problem is. So let me go to the form, let me go to submission form settings. That is okay. So I want to check the, no, there is where we submit form. I think it should be under the form. Let me see the form. Yeah, let me check here. So online, offline submission, allow submission to this form without username and ID. So I have enabled that. So maybe you can refresh your link. Can you refresh and tell me if it is still there?
Not yet.
Can you just click on the link? It should be working now. Yes, Dennis, thank you. Just Godfrey, ensure that okay, it's okay. Yeah, so submit to it. So the challenge was there is a new feature in KoboToolBox that we can restrict people who should respond on the form. So suppose we need that, so we can be able to give them a username and password for them to be able to respond to the form. But this is a new feature, so you should worry less. So just ensure that before you deploy, like the way I did, you have to enable this to allow submissions to this form without using a username and password. Of course, you can look at the support and see sharing projects and managing permissions. That's what it means in KoboToolBox. So that is it. So let's see the submissions as they come. So just use generic data. But because we want to also see how it works, so you can just use as some dummy info as possible. So there was someone who was saying is encountering an error. So I don't know. Yeah, fill the form, please fill the form so that we can see the submissions. Fill the form so that we can see the submissions. And I think I can repaste the link again for those who have joined now. So just fill in that we can see the submissions and see how they come in, what we can do to validate. So who is this? This is Ian. Is it okay now? Ian? Okay, thank you. So in KoboToolBox, you can be able to do a lot of things. This is just the basics, but you can be able to add logos to your form. If it is a company survey, you can be able to add photos to your form to make it as robust as possible. And you can add as different types of questions as possible where appropriate. So the key should be taken before deploying the form to the field. You should have tested the form with what we call piloting to see what the respondents think about your type of questions. That is very, very important to note before deploying the form to the real users of the form. The real users of the form. So it's very important for us to know that. And the questions are a lot. Yeah, so cannot see submission yet. Yeah, so there is a way that you can link KoboToolBox data directly to other tools for data the real-time data visualization. You can, of course, export data from here to something like Google Sheet, the model data, okay, Google Sheet or Excel, or you can link direct to Power BI using the KoboToolBox API or the REST services for KoboToolBox. So those are the advanced concepts in the KoboToolBox that you can be able to link data direct to the visualization tools like BI, the BI tools. Or you can export your data to Excel by pulling the data. Once you receive here data, you will see how you can be able to download the data to your Excel. So XLS form. So you can download the data. Once the data is available, you can be able to download it. And so you'll be exporting the data to Excel. And then you can now link it to where you want to link it to. So for us, we still have no data yet. Once the submissions are in, you'll be able to see the data in the table. Right now it's blank, but we'll be able to see the data in the table once we have even a single submission. And the report will have real-time report based on the entries that are being submitted. However, you can create a new report if you want. So default report is the real-time report once the data is submitted to the form. And then the gallery is where you will see all the images that we have provided under photos, maybe photo of your facility health center, you can be able to see here. And then download is where you can be able to see the download. And then map is where we will be able to see the geographic location of your submission. So you will be able to see your geographic location of your submission. So hope you are also doing that. Let me see if I can also make a submission so that we make some dummy submissions. Maybe something like that is mail, value not allowed. Let me see, full name, value not allowed. Okay, let me just check that. You're not allowed. Just check that. Discard. And just go to the backend and check the form. I don't know where we've reached.
Check the name on the email. The value not allowed. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you could have raised that issue so that we see. Okay. So what is your full name? Provide your full name. Say it must be in a proper format. Just remove these mandatory guidance hints. So full name is mandatory. It must be in a format. So custom logic. Validation criteria. Okay, I have to delete this. Yeah, so once I've deleted that, it will be able to accept. So let me see the email, where the problem is for the email. And settings, validation criteria is also there, so I have to delete. Okay, so I think you can now submit your responses. So I'll also reload here, discard, and then fill in again, that you can be able to do that. I'll also enable my location, allow, continue blocking, allow, done. So I can now provide my name, like that. Just something for dummy login. So just ensure refresh your form. Still not allowed. Let me just click on the form. Fresh. I have to deploy. Sorry, I have to deploy. I have to deploy. So I have to save. I have to save here. Any change you make to your form, you have to deploy your form for it to capture the current updates. So survey community. So I have to deploy. So you go to the form here and redeploy for it to overwrite the existing changes. So now it should be okay. Now it should be okay, colleagues. Sorry for that. And that is also part of learning, to know that thing discard this. So then you click on OK. And then a newer version of this form is available. Let me see if it's already updated or not yet. Let me just provide one name. Okay, I have to reload because there's a newer version. So you have to reload. When you see that, you just have to reload. And now it should be okay. And let's see how it works. Yeah, so it's now okay. Please, now you can respond. Manuel at example. So that's how you can see. Okay, the best way of learning is to encounter such challenges so that you can be able to know how they can be handled. And then you can select the date of birth. Let me say my date of birth is something like January 2024. And what is your age? And my age. So sometimes we usually have a type of question known as calculate that can be able to calculate the age. So we can be able to put here a note for the calculate question from the date, and now we can be able to see. It will tell you your age is this, but now we are not covering that today. So let me just use that for demo. The demo data, just demo data. Please describe any currently experiencing no health issues. No health issues. No health issues. And do you have access to the health facility? Yes, I do. Which of the following are available? Primary and mental. Geographic location. So I can capture my location. I can capture my location just like that. And then please upload a photo. Let me just upload let me just upload a Power BI photo. And record a brief description of the health challenges. Let me see what it will tell me. Oh, I have to upload an audio file. I have to upload a file. I don't have a music here. Let me see if I can get just anything. I get an audio. Let me see. For the phone, you will be able to even record instantly, but for the devices, you cannot be able. So let me just check CapCut. Just check some recording. Okay. Oh, is an audio, must be an audio file. Must be an audio file. So let me see. And documents. I don't know if there is anyone who has submitted. Check and got issue. Yet we have nothing. Okay. Can store. Okay. Okay. File is too large, more than 10 Mbps. MBs. Let me see this one. Okay. That one is okay. Let me hear. Okay. So my audio is okay. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so check up. So I'll just do the ranking here. Yes, no. Okay, this is maybe 3. I'll rank this as 3, and maybe this I'll rank this at 1. Not 1, should be something not. Yeah, and then I rate the services. Very poor and very good, and okay, they are mixed up, no problem anyway, but we'll just have to work with them like that. Kobo usually does thing, but no problem. So okay, I said no, so this one will not be available for me, so I'll just submit. Of course, I can save a draft, and again continue with submission later. So one was submitted successfully, so a response was submitted there. So I'll go to the backend and refresh the data. Oh, there is already 4 submissions. Thank you for those who have submitted. I am also part of those. So once you submit, this is how your database under table will be like. This is how it will automatically capture the start time for your data, start time and finishing time. And if you carry on filling the form up to the next day, you will know. So for me, I took 4 minutes. This one took 3 minutes. This one took 2 minutes. This one took a lot of time. Anyway, so yeah, you can be able to see that start time and the end time. So we have to validate our form, our responses. So maybe we go to check the location. So these are the entries that we have. This person has not updated a photo. Now we will just go to, or this one we were to change. Okay, these things we were to change in the backend so that the data can be accurate. So these things should be changed in the backend so that the data can be clean and accurate. So that's something that we should note there. So here we have to check this person did not provide a photo. So we will do what? We will hold. We will put it on hold. Maybe we will request the person to resubmit and or on hold, or we will not approve. So here is how you can validate the responses as they come in. Maybe we'll approve this one. Sorry, we'll approve. Not approved. No, this one is approved. Maybe we can approve this one based on the key things that we want. Maybe there is an audio that was uploaded, approved, and something like that. And so this is happening because the backend, we should be able to check the form. So I'll edit the form. So I'll go to those areas where we have such responses. I think it is this primary care, those are okay. We have questions on this to be ranked. So we change this to the values, the exact values that should be there. Things like when that is selected, the value should be 1. When this is selected, the value should be 2. When this is selected, the value is to be 3 to be ranked. Okay. And then we can also scroll down to this section, settings. So under this, we have column here. So we have to change this. Maybe this, when someone selects this, this is very good. Very good. We can give it 1. And poor is 2. No, poor is Very good is 5. Poor is 2. Very poor is 1. And uncertain is 3. Good is 4. So we just do that so that we don't receive this as the results in our column. So that's how we should do that to avoid such scenarios. Whenever you encounter such scenarios, you have to do that. You have also to update here on this sheet. You have to update on this sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data columns that we have already updated. So everything is okay. Then there is okay. So you have to save back. And if there's a need for redeployment, you have to redeploy for the effects to be taken into account. So you can redeploy. Maybe if there is someone who has not responded yet, should respond so that we can see under form, we can redeploy our work. And when we redeploy our work, we should now be able to get the right responses when someone fills in. So anyone who has not responded to give us those values, we need these things to be updated. If there is other things here that need to be updated, we need to know. But of course, once you have this kind of data, once you have your data in, you have to go to, when you want to download your data to Excel, you click on downloads. It's XLS, labels, you can collect data with its headers or whatever. You can go to advanced options if you want. If you don't want, just leave and export. So once your data is correct, when you export your data, apply, so it's already been exported, so you can download here. Exported, you can download here. So when you click here, it will be able to download and it will tell you at what time have you created this. So you can create another one. So you can just open in Excel. When your data is correct, you can now see the data in Excel. This is going to open another tab here. So it will lead you to Excel where you can be able to see your responses. So let me just share the screen for the Excel that has been downloaded, and the data is really clean, unlike the way it is here for Kobo purposes of the database servers. So let me share the Excel that has been uploaded. So I will share my screen for the Excel that has been downloaded, not uploaded. So this is the Excel. Where are you? Yeah. Yeah, survey community share. So this is the Excel that we have exported from the survey. As you can see, this is the Excel version of the exported data. So everything there, enable editing, so we can be able to see the links. Please upload a photo. So the photos here can be accessed as a link. So when you click on it, you'll be able to see the photo. When you click on the link, you can be able to see the photo. And this is the recording, this is the audio. So you'll be able to listen to it. And
your screen is
yes?
not visible on my side.
Okay. Oh, stop sharing. Let me share again. Thank you for that. Yeah, here we are. Hope you can be able to see. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so when you export your data to Excel, this is what you'll be able to see. You will see the data, how it's streamed in. You will see the coordinates, longitude and latitude. You will see the precision. And you can see, please describe any health issues. You can see here the health issues. And do you have access to health facility? You can see the responses there. Yeah, so this is how the data looks like. So for yes and no, Excel usually gives, okay, when the entries come to KoboToolBox usually assigns true and false for categorical data. So true is 1, false is 0. So this is easy for you to work with it in SPSS, because SPSS requires that you encode your categorical data. So it is easier for you to work with the other data tools while doing dummy coding, like the one-hot encoding in Python. And from there, now you can be able to see the photos. You can see these are the names. Please upload a photo. So this is the name for the photo, and then this is the link for the photo. So when you click on the link, you'll be able to see the photo that was uploaded, connecting to KoboToolBox, enter the credentials. Remember my credentials. This is just for security purposes. So I'll have to provide my credentials for me to see this. But now I am not going to use that. And I think that is really nice. That's nice for us to protect the data. Okay, let's ignore that. And then regular checkups, and we can be able to see 1 up to 5. Not one up to 3. These are the ranking. So this one rated this and that and that and that and so on. And then the rate the quality of the services, rate of the quality of the services. So these are Kobo does its thing. So you need to ensure that first of all, before you share your data, you have to clean such cases when it happens to do like that. So you have to remove the span style, span what, just remain with the emergent services, and they will be ranked the way we see this one's being ranked here. So once you approve on the validation, we can see this is not approved. You can see this is approved, and so on and so on. So we have a feedback form that we would like to hear from you about this session today, Maybe you will also tell us what you've learned, and we'll also be able to share the recording from the emails that will be providing the feedback. So that is the feedback form in the chat section. You can give us your feedback, and we'll also have access to your email to share the recording for the session. Otherwise, let me go back to the KoboToolBox to show how the report summary comes in, how the summary report comes to the KoboToolBox, the automated report. So under reports, you click on reports, and you can see how many people responded okay on acknowledge. What is your name? How many people? If there is repetition, you will see here frequency.
And share screen.
Oh, okay. I'm only sharing Excel, sorry. So let me stop sharing and share the entire screen. Thank you for that reminder. So I'll share the window because this is the last. So I'll share the last window, which is KoboToolBox. I think it's window, yeah. Yeah, so share. Okay, so I think there we go. Yeah, so under reports, you can be able to see, under report here, you can be able to see people who have responded on acknowledge, how many, what is your name, how many, you can see the gender distribution. This is the automated report. As the data comes in, this report is being generated. How many male, how many female, and their percentage distribution. The email addresses, you can check here. If you have duplicates, you can see if there is duplicates there. And then what is your date of birth? That's the date of birth. And then and their frequency for the date of birth. So people who share the same date of birth, we can be able to see that happening. So this is really interesting because it is easier for us to see what's happening on our data. However, you can change the type of chart that you want. It should be here. So vertical, you can change the type of chart here to something like pie. A pie chart, you save, and you see everything will be changing to a pie chart. So this is the power of KoboToolBox. In advanced sections, we usually cover this. And then we can also have a donut chart, and I save, and you can have a donut chart instead of a pie chart. So and when you hover on top of this, you can see the data labels. You can see the data labels of these visuals. So, and you can do other settings on it. What is your email address? What is your data there? And then you have cough, okay. And then we'll see here the maternal care, their distribution in terms of percentages. And of course, we can see checkup and all that. So everything, this is the report. We can see the map. Map should be on the next section. So how many people are uncertain with that, and so on. Poor. So this is real time. And now when we go to map, we can be able to see the distribution of these people. Now I think I have a different geographic, so I think it will be weird. So who is this? This person did not select the current location, just selected the end location, but that is okay. So no problem with that. For me, I'm down there. I'm the one here. I'm the one here near South Africa. And I'm the one down. So the 3 people who responded, so you can zoom out. You click here, you zoom out, and we can only see people. So we have some other people in Nairobi and others, Soweto, Lower Savannah, and Bakas. So you can be able to know where these responses are being collected from. And it's really interesting to see this. Hope you are seeing this screen. Are we seeing the screen for the map? Are we seeing the screen for the map? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So under OpenStreetMap, we can change other type of orientation on how we want to see the map by just changing here, and you can see the different views of the map as the data comes in. So this helps us in doing the GIS geospatial data analysis. So we can change the orientations here and so on and so on. And now we can be able to know what is it actually that we need. And then we can change the view. Let me just zoom in. So for you to zoom in, let me just zoom in like that, zoom in again. Yeah. So I can change here the show as point. It's already showing as point, so I can show it as a heat map to show where majority of the people are concentrated. You can change here to show the heat map. You can toggle to view the whole map on your screen rather than viewing the Kobo, other parts of the Kobo toolbox. Okay, but anyway, there is a lot that we can do. However, under the gallery, you can be able to see the photos that people uploaded in the section, and that's really nice. So we can know which person uploaded this. So this is how we can see the photo. But to see which person, you have to go to the database and click on the link based on each person's responses. Otherwise, let's fill in the feedback form about what we've learned today. And I would also like to hear from you. So we have our Microsoft Excel, not Microsoft Excel. Okay, we have a Microsoft Excel session that is started yesterday for the 5 weeks. So week 1 was yesterday. So week 2 is next week, and so on and so on. But however, we have another cohort for data analysis in Python, SPSS, Stata R, Tableau, Power BI, SQL. If you are passionate about data, we have those sessions that will be starting from 1st of July. So you can visit our website to learn more about that. However, you can contact us directly from the WhatsApp groups and or via our email that you usually receive communications, and we will be able to support where possible. So that marks the end of our session today about data collection using KoboToolBox. And I take this opportunity also to